attention lately. Mainly, critics say that the nuclear Iran poses a threat to the national security. Those who oppose the deal claim they don't trust Iran and fear what will happen without sanctions. Both of you came out in support of this deal. Tell us why you support it and why you believe it's a good deal for the U.S.
Well, can I first kind of identify myself? I'm not a lawyer, but I'm the mother of all lawyers. One daughter who is a judge, another who is now, when she applied to law school, said she wanted to learn a language to help children, so she's the executive director of the San Francisco Child Abuse Prevention Center. One of them is married to a law professor at Catholic U, and the other one is married to a general counsel at a major corporation. So we have everything going, and I just got my notice for jury duty. So, let me just say, I do think that the agreement is viable and good and essential, and I'm very glad that there was not any resolution of disapproval. I think that it helps in so many ways our security. We were very concerned about what the Iranians were potentially doing in developing nuclear weapons, and this was a very good way to get our arms around it through I think, one of the tightest verification processes that at least I've seen in terms of how it is done and the various capabilities that we have. What has happened is that there are really three paths to a nuclear weapon: plutonium, uranium, and covert, and all those paths have been cut off. I can understand why people were debating it. It's a very essential issue for us to know, but what we did manage to do was to cut off the paths, and in fact, I think, have some way of understanding what's going to happen in the next years, and we have to keep our eye on it. It is one of those where we have to keep verifying it.
I certainly agree with Madeline. By the way, I have one child who's a lawyer. He was a soldier, was very badly injured on the Iron Curtain patrolling, and after he was retired from the Army on disability, it was 100%, which is not there anymore. He said I had to find something new to do with life, and he decided to become a lawyer. He's become quite a successful lawyer. He was in a law firm, graduated from Georgetown, and he then became Chief of Staff to the Antitrust Division boss at the time, and then he moved on to become a member of the FCC and then made chairman of the Federal Communications Commission. And he's now the president of the National Cable and Telecom Association, and I'm very proud of him and his legal background, and I remind him all the time that he may have a degree from law of Georgetown, but I have 10 honorary degrees. I was also telling a couple guys backstage that when I first came in the Army, we didn't have lawyers necessarily serving as either trial or defense counsels unless it was a general court-martial. At summary level or special court-martial level, you just pick some officers. And so as a young 22-year-old first lieutenant, I was assigned the trial counsel for a manslaughter case. It was in a tent in Germany. I got one conviction. There were 4 guys up, and I got 1 conviction and 3 acquittals. And that is the sum total of my legal experience. And I suspect it was because of me that they decided we really have to get a real lawyer. I'm a great admirer of what you all do, and we could not have the system that we have without the work that you do, as well as the trial counsels. And we might get into Guantanamo, and I have a few words to say about that in a little while. With respect to the agreement, I fully support it. I don't think it's just a marginally good agreement. I think it's a very good agreement. The criticism that's made of it is, well, 12 to 15 years from now, these restrictions are lifted, and then the Iranians are going to go back and restart the whole thing all over again. Well, maybe they will, maybe they won't. None of us are fortune tellers. We can't tell where the Iranians might be in 10 or 15 years when the restrictions come off. And so let's not predict that's what they're going to do. They may have changed entirely. They have given up a lot in this agreement. 2/3 of their centrifuges are going to be under UN supervision. The plutonium facility that is almost in full operation is going to be halted at a certain level, and cement's going to be poured into the reactor core. That's pretty good. So when people say to me, yeah, but 10 or 15 years from now, they're going to come back at it. I said, the problem we're trying to solve is not 10 to 15 years from now, it's today, tomorrow. They have 18, 19,000 centrifuges spinning now, and they're prepared to shut down 2/3 of them. Let's take the deal. Well, is it verifiable? I've negotiated some 5 different arms control agreements in my career, mostly with Russians, but with others. And there's always some concern about the verification of it. This is the best, tightest verification regime I've seen in my experience. But there'll always be little nitpicks and concerns about it. But I think when the other side makes an agreement to shut down as much as they're planning to shut down and put under UN control, I have to think twice about are they really going to take the risk of trying to have a covert program somewhere that could be discovered? Because the IAEA is going to be all over that country. And so there's a lot of chatter about the quality of the verification regime, but I've spoken to the senior leaders of our intelligence community, and they're confident it can be verified. And I'm very impressed by our Secretary of Energy and nuclear physicist, Mr. Munez, who says, you know, no matter what you think they can do, it's not like on television, CSI, where you clean the room. The signal left by radioactive material will stay there forever, and it can be detected. So I think it's a good agreement. We should move on. I'm rather disappointed at the political result of this discussion, where every single Republican voted to shoot it down, and almost every Democrat voted to keep it going, although a couple slipped away and voted on the other side of it. But I'm glad that the President was able to get the agreement, and it's behind us now. We should focus on implementing this agreement and making sure that the Iranians comply. And if they don't comply, they don't get the relief of sanctions. So we get a pretty good handle on this, and I hope over time the American people will understand this is a pretty good deal.